Welcome to the Downtown Aurora Historic District. Our district was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1994 and includes many excellent examples of 19th and 20th century architecture. The following are some examples of historic architecture in Aurora. (111) 5th Street, Aurora Baptist Church, First Evangelical United Church of Christ, 1848, Gothic Revival. Built for one of the earliest religious groups in the community, the Baptists, this church has been a place of worship since its construction. In 1874, the Baptists moved to a new sanctuary on Main Street, and the building was purchased in 1875 by the German Reformed congregation, later to become the First Evangelical United Church of Christ. An extensive remodeling in 1911 included alteration of the front. Doors flanking the center were replaced with windows, a central door was added, and the bell tower was replaced with a steeple. The sanctuary was placed on the National Register in 1994. Today, the former church building is the City of Spire's Historical Museum and Foundation. 204 5th Street, Heisey Residence, 1918, American Foursquare. Built soon after Charles Heisey purchased the property from Emmeline Reese, this house is constructed of iron-filled brick created through an expensive process which gives the brick a unique purple tone. Note the wide eaves, dormers with small multi-pane windows, and east-facing bay on a high stone foundation. This was the location of an earlier home, that of Mary Stratton, daughter of Aurora founder Jesse Holman. 203 5th Street, Langtree Livy Residence, 1850, Greek Revival. Samuel Langtree is the first known resident of this home. For most of the 20th century, it was the residence of the Herman Livy family and descendants. Livy was a founder of the Cochran Chair Company, a furniture manufacturer in business from 1879 to 1983. Note the returns at the roofline and the side lights, and the transom at the front door. This home has undergone major restoration, including the removal of insole brick, which covered the poplar siding from the 1920s until 2006. 205 5th Street, Kastner Residence, 1840, Federal Greek Revival. The Federal style is suggested in the simple, symmetrical facade and eave line, while the Greek Revival style is visible in the molded, decorative entry and the front door side lights and transom window. The elaborate entry hood adds a Queen Anne touch and was probably a circa 1890 addition. 213 5th Street, Gaff Residence, 1855, Italian Renaissance Revival. Designated a National Historic Landmark in 1992, Hill Forest, originally Forest Hill, was the home of Thomas and Sarah Gaff. Gaff and his brother James, whose home was located just north of Hill Forest at 4th and Main, were associated with many of the early business ventures in Aurora, including the T&JW Gaff & Company Distillery, the First National Bank, the Gaff, Lozier & Company Dry Goods Business, and the Crescent Brewing Company. 302 5th Street, Dr. Jackson Residence, 1943, Colonial Revival. Sitting on the former location of Linden Terrace's carriage house, this home was built for local physician Kenneth Jackson. Notice the many similarities to the Dartnall home on the adjacent lot at 301 4th Street. As noted earlier, Linden Terrace was the 19th century home of James and Rachel Gaff, and encompass both of these lots. 412 5th Street, Hurlburt Residence, 1840, Greek Revival, Italianate. Louis G. Hurlburt, founder of Aurora Lumber Company, Indiana's oldest lumber yard, had this grand home built for his family. Note the brick sidewalk, which is significant because Hurlburt sold bricks as well as lumber. This home remains authentic to its original design. 306 4th Street, Stapp Residence, 1883, Italianate. Built for David and Jenny Stapp, this home features an array of styles through its many features, including the Moorish Revival entrance, the Italianate cornice, the Queen Anne door glass, and the East Lake window surrounds. Note the limestone walkway and the iron fence that encloses the small yard. 304 4th Street, First Baptist Church, Vineyard Community Church. 1938 Gothic Revival. In the summer of 1937, months after the devastating flood in January, the Baptist Church on Main Street burned and was a total loss. The cause of the fire was attributed to floodwaters damaging the electrical wiring. The Baptists chose to rebuild on higher ground and chose a lot on 4th Street. In 2006, the Baptist congregation moved to a new site outside of Aurora. 211 4th Street, First Presbyterian Church, 1850 to 1856, Greek Revival. This is the second oldest of the 19th century churches in Aurora's historic district. The town clock located in the steeple was maintained by the town until the 1980s. At that time, the city turned the clock and its maintenance over to the church, ending a 130-year-old agreement whereby the city would pay for and maintain the clock and the steeple in exchange for its placement in the steeple. 218 4th Street, Petcher Residence, 1910, American Foursquare. Basically unaltered since its construction, this is Aurora's prime example of the American Foursquare style and was built for the John Petcher family. Notice the stained glass window on the alley side and the restored, ornamented work above the porch. This home is currently used as an office. 203 4th Street, St. Mary's Catholic Church, 1864, Gothic Revival. St. Mary's was founded in 1849. The first church was located near the foot of Market Street. This edifice was finished in 1864, although the steeple was not completed until 1876. These two dates are commemorated on the east and west sides of the slate roof. The parish complex includes the church, the 1950 modified American Foursquare Rectory, the 1959 school building, the 1981 Activity Center at 206 5th Street, and the 1948 Jacobine Home, which formerly housed the Sisters of St. Francis at 210 5th Street. 403 Judiciary Street, Will and Mary Ann Stevens Residence, 1862, Gothic Revival, Queen Anne. Will Stevens was a prominent and prosperous Aurora businessman who was able to build this classic Victorian home despite the economic hardships of the Civil War. 223 3rd Street, Aurora House Hotel, 1870, Italianate. The Pelgin family operated their popular bar and restaurant here for almost 80 years. 216 3rd Street, Aurora City Building, 1887, Romanesque Revival. The City Hall, listed in the National Register in 1994, is connected to the former jail and administration building facing Main Street and was completely renovated in 2005. The oldest continuously used city building in Indiana, the building today houses the council chamber and space for a town museum. The adjacent building continues to be used by the police department and other city departments. 306 3rd Street, First United Methodist Church, 1862 to 1863, Greek Revival. The Methodists were the earliest religious group in Aurora, and this is the congregation's third building. Its symmetrical gabled front with a closed pediment, pressed tin brackets, egg and dart molding, and limestone capped central entrance reflect features popular in the Greek Revival style. The steeple was altered around 1950 due to termite damage. The building was placed on the National Register in 1994. 313 3rd Street, Fulbury Residence, circa 1890, Queen Anne. This home was built for Thomas Fulbury, whose family was among the earliest settlers in Aurora. Covered for years with insole brick, this home is once again one of the finest homes in the historic district. 317 3rd Street, Ulrich Residence, 1850, Federal. John Ulrich, the druggist who founded Ulrich's Drug Store at 2nd and Main, was the second of several generations of the Ulrich family to own this property. This home was covered with insole brick, a low-maintenance siding product of the early 20th century, and has now been carefully restored. 214 Mechanic Street, St. John Lutheran Church, 1874, Gothic Revival. Built for a German Lutheran congregation, this structure, inside and out, remains remarkably unchanged since 1874. The building's graceful lines and curb appeal are an integral part of downtown Aurora, both historically and in the present. 215 Mechanic Street, 1900 Queen Anne Carpenter Builder. This home, with its large wrapping porch and small yard surrounded by an iron fence, is the quintessential example of a 19th century town residence. 420 Exporting Street, Acme Milling Company, Ayler and Meyer Company, 1897. 19th century functional. Actually 3 adjoined buildings. This was first the home of Acme Milling Company, founded by Henry A. Ruhlman. Later became Ayler and Meyer, and is the only remnant of an operating mill in a town which once supported numerous mills. 510 2nd Street, Baltimore and Ohio Southwest Railroad Passenger Station, 1911, Arts and Crafts. Constructed to replace a frame station that served the Ohio and Mississippi line, the station is the only railroad-related building remaining in the district. The station has a saddleback hip roof with red pan tiles, shed roof dormers, and wide eaves ornamented by simple rounded rafters. Owned today by the Aurora Public Library, the depot can look forward to many years of use for the people of Aurora. 414 2nd Street, Aurora Public Library, 1913, Italian Renaissance Revival. The library's symmetrical front facade is accented by round rookwood terracotta medallions. A bronze plaque above the main entrance commemorates the building's benefactor, George Anna Sutton, whose estate made possible the building in memory of her parents, Dr. George and Sarah Fulbury Sutton. This edifice was listed in the National Register of Historic Places in 1993. 411 2nd Street, Masonic Hall, 1880, Italianate. Like many of Aurora's buildings, the projecting entablatures, cornice work, and pilasters appear to be stone but are actually pressed metal. Such ornamentation could be ordered from catalogs. During much of the 20th century, this building was the home of the G.C. Murphy Dime Store. 340 2nd Street, First National Bank, 1870 and 1924, Classic Revival. This structure, which housed Aurora's first bank, First National Bank of Aurora, was originally built in the Second Empire style. In 1924, it was redesigned in Classical Revival style. Among the founders of the First National Bank were brothers Thomas and James Gaff. 312 2nd Street, Spaeth Building, circa 1870, Second Empire. Note the mansard roof with slate shingles. In the 19th century, this commercial building housed the photography studio of James N. Walton.